Well, hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 222 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Today we are, of course, talking about the SOAP framework with respect to emotional health and well-being. I picked frustration because it's kind of sneaking into my life a little more often than I wanted to. I'm feeling it too much, feeling more challenged, so I want to do something about it. So today we are on step 3 of the SOAP process, which stands for A, action. We want to act now. We want to analyze the options we came up with yesterday, and then we want to take action today. I learned from Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn's decades ago never to leave the scene of a decision without taking some sort of action. So committing out loud, saying it out loud, doing affirmations, picking up the phone, calling somebody, writing it down, doing something to solidify that decision and move forward from where we are to where we want to be. Well, today we're going to talk about a tool called the decision matrix so we can analyze the alternatives we came up with yesterday. Yesterday, I think I came up with about 20. I picked 5 to show a matrix. We're going to do a 5x5 decision matrix today. It's what we do is we come up with, here's our options in one column, and it can either be across or down, whatever you prefer. And I tried to write backwards, but I was distracted. So part of it's backwards, part of it's not. And the whole thing is flip-flop because I haven't written or done anything backwards for a while. So it'll show up in the right direction when I'm talking to you. But we'll go through it anyway. I actually used for the criteria this time, my favorite tool, my favorite decision-making tool is called the urine analysis. And we'll cover it again this year. We've already covered it once or so, maybe twice. But we'll cover it again. But I'm using those same criteria because we have our options on one grid, part of the grid matrix, and we have our criteria across the others. So we want to consider things like what's important in making this decision and this choice. What's important to consider when we're analyzing this? And I like the urine acronym because it reminds me that things can be urgent or non-urgent. And we rate each one based on how urgent it is right now that we do this thing or that we do and apply this particular tool. And I'll walk through that with the example of frustration in a minute. So how urgent is it? And the more urgent it is, the higher number I'll rate it. So a lot of times I just do 3, but today we're going to do 5. So my most urgent option to choose from gets a 5. Next, we're going to look at resources. What resources are required in order to make that option happen? I say time, but I save energy for the E of the categories. Resources: time, money, human people, bodies, physical resources we might need to acquire in order to make it happen. And then what is the cost of all those things? And the most expensive one gets the highest number. The least expensive gets the lowest number. So this is kind of just the opposite. That's the only rub in this particular framework at all, is that some of the category or some of the criteria you switch around whether it's high or low based on what it is. So for resources and energy and effort, the more we have to put into it, the less attractive that is, so it gets the lower number. The less we have to put into it, it gets a higher number. And for urgency, importance, and necessary, those get the higher number. The more urgent, the more important, the more necessary it is that I do it or I participate in it or that I get it done, it gets a higher number. So if I'm looking at, with respect to frustration, which I am, which is why I made this so I can use it for myself today, the first one is for me to change my definition and my rules for the feeling of frustration. That one, urgency, I'm going to do this right now. Do my homework while we talk. For urgency, I would say that is very urgent. That's like my most urgent thing. So I'm going to give that one a 5. Resources, it doesn't cost me anything to do this, so I'm going to give that a 5. Important, I'm going to say it's a 5. This one obviously is the one I like. Necessary, is it necessary that I do it? Well, no, it's not 100% necessary, so we'll give it a 3. And then energy and effort. Okay, things that are hard for us to do personally and require our energy, time, and effort usually get, the more they require of us, the lower the number they get. So I'm going to give this one a, it really doesn't take hardly energy or effort to do this, right? It takes setting a timer for 10 minutes or something and actually thinking through and doing it. I'm going to give it a 4. I'll give it a 3 too. Okay. Next one is to hire a coach to do this for me. Now, I might hire a coach or a consultant to do this with my business, but I'm probably not going to do it for me. So how urgent is it? I'm going to give it like a 3. It's probably not that urgent. Resources, it's probably going to be expensive, so I'm going to give it about a 5 based on my other options. Important, is it important that I hire a coach for this? It's important that I solve this problem, but it's not necessarily important that I hire a coach, so I'm going to give that a 2. And then necessary, it's never necessary that we hire a coach. It's very helpful. It speeds up the process. It gets us the results we want faster, but it isn't really necessary. Unless I'm having a super duper bad stopping me in my tracks problem, it's not necessary. So I'm going to give it a 1. And as far as energy and effort, I have to find the right coach. I have to go out and interview people. I have to make sure that I research them and get their credentials. So I'm going to give that a 4 because that would take quite a bit of research. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing for, you're going to like these. I put get a shrink or a psychologist to help me, take a workshop or something, and then, or join a mastermind or masterclass, take a class. I had a whole bunch of options, but I'm just doing these 5, and then I'll just tally them all up, and whichever one gets the highest number, that is the one that I'm going to take action on today. And I'm going to check in with my head, my heart, and my intuition, because if one of those is off, I'm going to re-look at my list and say, is this really the one I want to take action on first? I always do that. I always do that final check. All right, so that's what we're doing today. Create a decision matrix, or if you already know which action you want to take that action today. Share in the comments below that you've done it, or share what you did if you want more support on it, or if you have any questions, just ask in the comments below. Message me, whatever it takes. I am hiding in plain sight, so never use that as an excuse. Oh, I couldn't find her. You sure can. All right, have an amazing day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye. Have fun with this.